here tonight at the patios and stuff. Seemed pretty busy. So.
I've noticed
Most
a lot
people are
of
behaving
people.
themselves.
I've noticed a lot of people bringing their own wine.
Yeah.
Out with them. That's the thing. They're coming in. A lot of people with their own bottle of wine.
Yeah, bummer.
They stocked up. They figured I already bought it.
Yeah.
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 Gotta use it up. Gotta drink this
now
up.
they're trying to go through it.
I drank a couple of cases.
So Mitch, are you what are you have any new beers coming out soon that we should know about?
We have a double IPA called Jacked Squatch that is coming out next month. We have a double IPA that we came out with a couple of weeks ago called Mas Macho double IPA. Let's see, what else? We've got a new mix pack, variety pack coming out in June. So that'll have 4 beers in it. It'll have the two, the Hot Tropolis and the Hazy Like a Fox, and then it'll have a wheat beer and Lime of the Party, which is a key lime goza.
Oh, neat.
And that shows more of that. So.
Very cool. Do you do any darker beers?
We do. We always have a dark beer on tap in our place. So we rotate it between stouts and porters and different versions of those, and Schwartz beer and black IPA and things like that. But we just haven't found a real home for those outside of our restaurants. But we always have to have a dark beer on in our restaurant.
Interesting. I've never heard of a black IPA.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah.
No. That's the first time I've ever heard of it.
I should have suggested that one. That's in our current mix pack. Back 10 years ago, we did the first nationally available black IPA when I was at Stone, and it was very popular for a second. And the style kind of went away because people couldn't get around the whole oxymoron of a black pale, beer. So
maybe that's what you should call it. Oxymoron.
Yeah, I think that name was suggested at one point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, we have 10 minutes, guys. So I think we're all set here. Technically, everybody's got everything they need.
I believe so.
Yep.
Cool.
Hey, real quick, Sean, give me those ingredients for your drink, just so I have it written down in front of me.
Sure. Beachcomber is light rum, some sort of orange liqueur, triple sec, Grand Marnier, whatever you got.
I got the curacao.
Right. Lime juice. Maraschino liqueur.
What's that? Luxardo.
Luxardo, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And orgeat.
And the what?
Orgeat, the almonds, orange syrup.
Yep. That's this one right here, right?
Yeah, the jar of semen.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'll enjoy guzzling this one later.
Goes down easy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then, okay, what's the suffering bastard?
I'll be at the top restaurant in Atlanta bartending.
What? So let me ask a stupid question here. So am I to be like making these drinks while y'all are making the drinks at the same time?
So you guys are pre-mixed.
Yeah.
They're pre-mixed.
So yeah.
Okay.
So basically, the first one, the Beachcomber, you just shake over ice and strain into a glass.
Okay. Or it can be built in the glass?
If you want your ice in there, that's fine.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the Beachcomber can be built in the glass?
No, that's the one that you would shake and strain up.
Beachcomber's the one that you shake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I said build in the glass. I forgot that I made batches for you guys. So Suffering Bastard, just have a glass of ice, pour it over it, give it a little stir.
Yeah.
And then just top it with the ginger beer. We're going to take some mint, slap it in our hands.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have these backwards, Megan. The first one is ginger. The second one is...
Yeah. Yeah. And then the Beachcomber, basically what you have in a glass.
Number 1 is Beachcomber.
Number 1 is the Beachcomber?
Yeah, it should be
Okay.
kind of white.
And that's shaken.
And that one's served in the reservoir.
Now I'm confused.
No,
We've gone back and forth twice on this. So so the first one is the Beachcomber. It gets topped with ginger beer. It's built in a glass.
Yeah. First one is the Beachcomber, and
Yellow
it's
or red?
shaken and strained.
Yellow.
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 Yellow, right? Okay. So it's shaken.
And that one's nothing else added to that.
Shaken, served up.
So there's no ginger beer. Gotcha. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, God.
The
Okay.
ginger
the
beer
second
is
one-
in the second.
Because that's not what was said the first go around.
And then the second one is over ice, topped off with ginger beer with the mint.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
And then
Cool.
what's in those, Sean? That's the bourbon, or I'm using
Suffering
rye.
basket is the 1 ounce bourbon, 1 ounce dry gin, half ounce lime, 2 dashes Angostura,
And the bitter.
about a half ounce of orgeat. Give that a stir, top with ginger ale and the mint sprig.
Gotcha. All right, I'm ready.
Sweet. So we got all that stuff going. Everybody's ready. Houses. We know what songs are going.
See how my neighbors like it out here tonight. Although it's hard to complain about somebody being up and loud at 10 o'clock on Friday.
Vikings class.
I think you've got to 11 anyway, don't you?
Yeah,
All right.
I don't think I'm that loud out here anyway.
You're talking to people.
Yeah,
That's it. You're allowed to do that in your backyard.
I am. Get off my.
Cool. So we got 5 minutes.
Giant house that kind of looks over my backyard. It's the weirdest thing.
All right. Let me get the Facebook Live set up.
Are you leaving that tall glass here?
I was about to say the name of a different glass. Like, no, shouldn't. No, I shouldn't.
All right. Yeah, this is the second time I've been outside. The first time was a little different because I was up on the deck and I didn't have this all set up. Now I'm down in my fire pit area. I like this one a little bit better.
Nice.
Looks good.
Yeah. I
Usually
can't
do
wait
it.
till we can all be there doing it.
This is going to be when we can set it all up, and so I can kind of show you a little more around. And then we've got the fire pit right there. It's not very bright, but we got hammocks and all that kind of stuff back here.
Hey, Sean, can I see your second camera?
Give me a second. I was on trying to do the live setup.
We just need another, maybe
It's fine.
Cool.
This is
When
going to
we
be
get
closed in a second. It's just my spin.
No worries. Cool. All right. So we're getting ready to go. Sean's going to set us up. And then we'll be live within the next, how long, Sean?
I mean, 3 minutes, but man, I'm just about done.
Okay.
It's dead silence. What are we talking about? What's everybody doing now that we're free to go?
God damn it.
Anybody got anything planned?
Nope.
Nope.
Just started
drove to
possibly
Chattanooga last
thinking of-
weekend just to walk on the river walk, meet a friend.
Yeah.
That's it.
We've got I live right here in Cheatham Springs, so we have the Cheatham Hill National Battlefield right here. So
Oh, cool.
trails right all around here.
Nice.
Nice.
So we've had that. That's good. Got a 4-year-old, so I got to walk that energy off.
Oh, yeah.
And then just started kind of planning a little bit of a first road trip out, maybe to Montana where there's nothing out there. So like maybe Yellowstone and then back up through like a northern by Mount Rushmore and that, and hit a few breweries along the way.
Nice.
Cool.
Jen and I shot the hooch. We jumped in at Johnson Ferry and came all the way down to Paces Ferry or wherever the end just before Canoe where you get out. So that was nice. That was a nice 2-hour trip down the river, and there was nobody else there and no loud music.
You just did that recently?
Yeah, this past Monday.
Wow.
Really?
Yep.
Was the water freezing?
It was cold.
Yeah.
I bet it was, yeah.
It's freezing in the middle of summer. I'm like, wow.
It was okay. I mean, I got up to my waist at one point on a stop, but once I got back into the boat and dried off, it was cool. But yeah, my feet were cold. But it was nice being outside. It was a nice sunny day.
Oh,
Being
yeah.
on the water. It was very cool.
Sure.
All right, we got 1 minute. Relax.
The watermelon float.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Never a good sign when you just lean over to put something under your bar and your back cracks.
Ah.
All right, I'm good. All right,
That's what that was, huh? It
gonna
was a
hit the
back
line
crack.
button in 3.
All right.
Well,
Here we go,
2,
guys.
1. Give it like 5 seconds to load.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It's Friday night. My name is Ian. I'm the Beery Traveler, and I travel around this country looking for good times and great beers. Tonight, I have 2 guests this evening. Speaking of great beers, we have Mitch Steele from New Realm Brewing this evening. I also have Michael Meyer as our musical guest this evening, and then bartenders with us as always as well. Yes.
Good to see y'all.
He's got a couple of cocktails for us later. But, we're always looking for people to come on the show, talk about your craft, what you like to do. So if you are interested in coming on and maybe talking with us, having a few beers with us, you can hit us up at beer@thebeerytraveler.beer. Very easy to remember. All right, well, let's jump right in with our first guest, Mitch Steele from New Realm Brewing. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your brewery.
Oh gosh. Well, I'll start off with the brewery. We've been in existence for 2.5 years. We have a location in Atlanta near Inman Park in Old Fourth Ward, right near Ponce City Market. And we opened that facility in end of December of 2017. And 6 months after that, we ended up, there was a brewery that was owned by Green Flash in Virginia Beach. And Green Flash is a San Diego brewery. And it got repossessed by the bank and all the equipment got put up for auction. And so we ended up buying that, bidding on it in auction. And so now we're running 2 breweries, one in Virginia Beach and one in Atlanta. Atlanta's our original location. It's where I'm based. And we have a wonderful restaurant with a lot of seats. We opened up about a week ago, just the outside areas so people can still come and sit out on the deck. It overlooks the Beltline, which is really nice. You can walk directly on the Beltline and take a right turn and get to our place pretty quickly. So we've got, you can see behind me, I've got this background here. That's our brewery in Atlanta. And we've got the rooftop bar on the top, which has got amazing views of the Atlanta skyline. So it's a really cool place to hang out and have a beer. We brew a lot of different types of beer. My goal in our tap room, and we have about 30 taps in both locations, is to make sure that I've got a beer for everybody. So we're brewing a lot of different things. We're brewing some classic styles. We're brewing some more trendy styles. And then we send about a half a dozen of those beers out into distribution. So, and those are the ones that do, higher volume for us.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know that you come from Stone Brewing, right? Is that correct with that?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your experience with them, because they have a huge name throughout the country.
Yeah, I started brewing in the late 1980s professionally, and I started off in a little brew pub, and then after 4 years of doing that and not really making any money at it, I decided to kind of expand my horizons a little bit, and I ended up joining Anheuser-Busch, and I was with Anheuser-Busch for 14 years. I had a 5-year plan to stay at Anheuser-Busch, learn as much as I could, because they're very technically skilled brewers. But I'm a craft brewer, and I always have been. And so my plan was to spend about five years at AB, and then get back out into craft where I felt I belonged. Well, that 5 years stretched into 14, but back in 2006, Stone was looking for a new head brewer. Their head brewer, Lee Chase, had left to start his own place in downtown San Diego. And so I joined Stone. They had just moved into their new brewery at the time. It was a 50,000 square foot building with a 120 barrel brew house. So it was a pretty good sized brewery. And I spent 10 years at Stone, and probably the 10 most rewarding years of my career in brewing. I just enjoyed the hell out of it. I felt like that team at Stone was all very much in sync with what we were trying to do. And I had a lot of creative freedom, which I didn't expect going in, but they gave it to me, and I took advantage of it and made a lot of what I thought were really fun beers. So Stone was an amazing process. It was during my time at Stone that I got to write a book for Brewers Publications called India Pale Ale. I went back to England a couple of times and researched the history of the style of India Pale Ale, learned a lot of really new stuff. A lot of myth-busting stuff, and put the book out in 2012, and it's done real well. So, I got to do some really cool stuff at Stone. It was a great experience. And, when I left, I wasn't looking to leave, but, this was an opportunity to just build something from the ground up, which I'd never done before. And I thought it might be I thought it'd be fun, and I thought it'd be a challenge. And so far it's been both.
Yeah, that's excellent. I went to the Napa tap room just last.
That opened up after I left. And one of the guys that used to work for me, Steve Gonzalez, is doing the brewing up there, and he's a real talent. And I remember when they were looking at that building and trying to figure out whether they could put anything in there or not, because it's not a very big building, if I remember correctly. But I'm glad they opened it up.
Yeah, it was a pretty neat place.
Cool.
Well, do you want to talk about the first beer?
Yeah. So the first beer. Whoa. Hoptropolis IPA. This is one of our. We have two kind of West Coast IPAs in our lineup. One is Hoplandia, and then this one is Hoptropolis. And Hoptropolis is not quite a West Coast IPA. It's not as bitter as some of the West Coast IPAs, and it's got a little bit more body. But it's loaded with hops. It's the hop recipe in this one includes a lot of Citra, a lot of Mosaic, Azacca, and Laurel. So, one of the things I learned at Stone when we were going through hop shortages and things like that is sometimes it's really nice just to blend a lot of hops together, and so that's what this beer is. 6.5% alcohol, about 45, 50 IBUs. So it's not 70 IBU West Coast IPA, or it's 50. It's a little bit more balanced. But the hop character is really great on it. I like to tell people I get kind of a fruit cocktail character off of this. I get pear, I get pineapple, and then a little bit of citrus mixed in. Yeah,
definitely. And this is definitely the beer you can drink more than one of. Sometimes there's a lot of IPA. You only get one beer out of those. This one you can drink a couple of them, I think.
It's quite a bit lighter. I like how it's clear, no haze on it.
Yeah, yeah. It's haze versus no haze is a big deal right now, and we have hazy IPAs as well, but this is a clear one.
It's more on the refreshing side. It doesn't feel like it's going to knock you in the dirt right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I think that sits better with the fruit flavor too, or the fruit notes.
Yeah,
Now,
if you want the one that's going to kick you in the teeth, that's Hoplandia. That's 70 IBUs and 7.3% alcohol. So, but this one, we came out with this one a couple of months after we opened because we were hearing from the people that came into our place that Hoplandia was too bitter for them. And, coming from San Diego, I didn't understand that, everything in San Diego is bitter as all get out, but we ended up developing this beer in response to feedback we got from the people that came into our restaurant.
excellent.
Yeah.
It's the people's beer.
Cheers. I think it's got kind of just a really nice, soft palate, nice flavor profile.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So the two breweries that you have, Virginia Beach and Atlanta, tell me a little bit about the differences of the two.
Well, I think the biggest difference is Virginia Beach is a lot bigger. We have a 20-barrel brew house in Atlanta, 25 hectoliter. It's a Krone system. And then we've got a 5-barrel pilot system in Atlanta. And we do most of our innovation work happens in Atlanta at this point. The Virginia Beach Brewery is a 50-barrel Mueller brew house. So it's an American-made brew house, and the building is 50,000 square feet. So it's a huge building. We're using probably about a third of it right now for brewing, but we'll grow into it eventually. We have restaurants in both places. The menus probably are about 75% the same, and then there's some regional stuff, based on what's available, fresh and local, that we feature in each restaurant. So there's a little bit more seafood in the Virginia Beach restaurant, and but the menus are very similar. And that's pretty much it. We've got big outdoor areas in both places. The Virginia Beach brewery is kind of nice because the outdoor area is huge. And when we opened up, we found out we were getting families that came in and were setting up picnics out on the lawn and bringing their kids, and the kids are running around and kicking soccer balls and everything else. And it felt like you were in a park that had beer. It was kind of neat.
That's cool. Yeah.
Nothing like kids and beer. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
It's an American tradition.
Yeah. It's how the parents deal with it,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious.
Beer at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
That's right.
Right before we get to the next beer, Mitch, I assume since you have been in craft beer for your whole career, that you've paired beers and food before.
Yeah.
At your restaurants, do you have a favorite pairing, like of one of your dishes and one of your beers?
Yeah, actually, I do. We have number one, we have pretty good chicken wings, and I like they're buffalo wings. We don't do any other flavors besides buffalo, but man, it goes great.
The only
with
flavor you need.
It goes great with our Hoplandia IPA. And then we have a really good mac and cheese dish as well, and that pairs well with anything that's got some malt character to it. We have a Munich Dunkel, which is a dark German lager that's wonderfully malty, and it's a great beer to have with the mac and cheese. I think in general, anytime you compare beer and cheese, you've got a winner, and that's the pairing that really is magic for me. And it doesn't even matter, what it is. We can make any cheese work with beer, and just picking the right beer to go with that particular cheese. It's a fun exercise, and it's marvelous.
Yes, I've had many summers in Wisconsin, so beer and cheese,
Nice.
they go together well.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great pairing.
Sweet. So do you want to talk about the next beer?
Yeah. Get myself situated here. So the next beer is Hazy Like a Fox. This is our best-selling beer right now. It's a New England style IPA. So you can see right off the bat, it looks very different than the Hoptropolis. It's hazy. It's brewed with a lot of oats and wheat, and those are high protein grains. So the protein helps accentuate the haze in the beer. Interesting thing about hazy IPAs and New England IPAs that are different from other types of IPA is most of them have hops added in the middle of the fermentation. They're dry hopped in fermentation, and then because of that, there are enzymes in the yeast that actually break down the oils in the hops and change them into different oils. So when you put the hops in right at the beginning, you get this nice floral character, but as the fermentation proceeds, 2 days later, you get this really intense orange juice character. And we do that with this beer, and then after the fermentation is done, we add more hops, Azaka and Eldorado, and both of those hops go through that fermentation process really well. It's the technical term is biotransformation of the hop oils, but it's just something that happens, and nobody was really doing that in beer until people started brewing New England IPAs. So it's really kind of innovative, and it's only been around for, maybe 5 years.
Yeah, you definitely get the brighter citrus on there, but then the lighter, not so heavy on the palate.
The nose is much, much, much lighter on this. You're just like a faint lemony, or even like a mild orange juice kind of sense.
Yeah, and it almost has
got a beer you can drink all day right here.
An oceany quality to it, like a solidity to it, almost, but just a touch.
Yeah, and that's coming. There's a lot of things that are happening in the way people brew these beers that gives you that kind of mouthfeel and that kind of texture. And number one is the use of oats and wheat, which adds smoothness. And then the water profile you use in these beers is different. It lends to softening the bitterness quite a bit, using a high chloride content in the water. And then we, like a lot of New England IPA brewers, are throwing some lactose sugar in here, and lactose is not fermentable by brewer's yeast, so it remains in the beer as residual sweetness. And we use just enough to give the beer a little bit of body without it becoming sweet on the palate.
Yeah, it's almost got like eating oysters, that like aftertaste to it.
Yeah, I was kind of going for like saltwater taffy, like right at the end.
Yeah,
like not quite the sweetest, but it's got that kind of
yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit of that bite, a little bit of that kind of mild solidity. It's nice.
Yeah, definitely very, very good stuff.
Thank you.
Very unique.
So, I know the next beer, Mitch, is a collaboration. Have you done more than that than this one? Have you done other collaborations in the past?
Yeah.
Other brewers that you've been with?
Yeah, I've done a lot, actually. We started doing collaborations at Stone probably my second or third year there. And it got to the point where we were doing 4 or 5 a year by the time I left. So I got to work with a lot of really great brewers and made a lot of good friends. Some of the collaborators were friends of mine from beforehand, and I was excited just to have them come in and spend a day brewing beer with them. But other folks that came in were friends of Greg Cook's, who's he was the CEO of Stone at the time. Now he's chairman, but he was one of the co-founders. And Greg traveled around the world all the time and met some really interesting international brewers and would bring them into Stone, and we'd brew a batch of beer with them. And so I made a lot of really good friends doing collaborations, and you learn a lot because everybody brings something a little different to the party. And the whole idea of collaborating is stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit. And so I did a lot of collaborations with Stone. We've tried to do a few of them here at New Realm. It's gotten off to a slow start, but and we did a collaboration beer with Rheingeist out of Cincinnati back last year, about a year ago. We did this one on this next beer. We did this this year. And we've done a lot of small batch collaborations. I did a beer with done it twice now, actually, with Cherry Street Brewing and Piedmont Brewing out of Macon. And we do an IPA every summer to celebrate Jerry Garcia Day. And so the beer's called Token Rhyme, and we've brewed it 2 years in a row. And I don't know if we're going to get to do it this year because of everything that's going on. I hope we do, but Brian at Piedmont and Nick at Cherry Street are great brewers and great people, and it's been fun. And we've had James Massey from Two Tides in Savannah come up and brew a batch of beer with us. We brewed a couple of batches of beer with him in Savannah. So we try to get out there and collaborate as much as we can. Sometimes other things get in the way, but it's a wonderful experience. And it's the great thing about the beer industry that it is so collaborative and that you can do this. It's not as cutthroat competitive as other businesses are, and people like to share ideas and hang out. And beer's a very social beverage, obviously. So you hang out with people and drink beer all day and taste beer all day and brew a batch of beer. You've got a pretty amazing day by the time you're done.
Yeah, definitely. So with collaborations and music bringing it into it, some brewers will do a beer with musicians, and I know you play music as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that or thought of doing anything like that?
Yeah, we did one at Stone. We did the two musicians. We worked with two musicians on a collaboration, and it was called what was it called? Something Distortion, I think was collective
Social distortion.
maybe? Yeah, it wasn't Social Distortion, but we had.
That's what we're having now.
Yeah. Right. We had Kerry Kelly, who is a guitar player, and he actually owns 2 craft beer bars in Las Vegas. And he played with Alice Cooper for a number of years. He's part of the LA music scene, and he's been playing guitar in Night Ranger for a couple of years now, probably closer to 4 or 5 years. And we brought him in. He and Greg had been friends for a long time, and Kerry's become a good friend of mine as well. And the other musician that we brought in was Kyle Hollingsworth, who's the keyboard player for String Cheese Incident. And Kyle reached out to us because he's a home brewer and he's a beer guy, and he was really getting into beer, and he asked us if we'd be interested in doing something. And so that was a fun one because Kerry and Kyle are very different. Kyle's a jam band guy and Kerry's, kind of a hard rock metal guy. And but we had a lot of fun with the collaboration. One of the Stone anniversary parties, I was in a house band with a bunch of people from Stone, and we just had a lot of fun. We weren't very serious, but we were playing a set during one of our anniversary festivals out there at Stone, and Kerry Kelly decided he wanted to play a song with us, so he jumped up on stage and played a song. And then we had a second session. He goes, "Screw this, I'm going to play the whole set with you guys." So, we got to play a whole set with Kerry Kelly sitting in and playing lead. And that was pretty magical. That's when the music thing really gels, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool.
Yeah, I got to go to NAMM because of this, and things like that. It was awesome. So yeah, and Kerry's a good guy. He's got 2 bars called Aces and Ales in Las Vegas, and they're wonderful places to go get some really good beer and have a good time.
That's cool. That's yeah. Story.
That's pretty awesome. All right. So I assume we're going to move on to the next one, but I just have a random question as I was thinking about this. Since you've been a beer guy for sounds like most of your drinking career? That's accurate?
Yeah, pretty much.
You go to a house party and there's no beer, or any kind of party. What do you do? Is there like a backup? You're like,
you usually leave.
That's an option. And you didn't bring your own. That's not.
Yeah, and you leave to go get your own.
I'm not beer exclusive. I like a nice cocktail now and then. I like a glass of wine now and then. The only thing I don't like is bad beer. And so if I go to a party and there's nothing but beer that I don't like, then I am at kind of a loss. But
I like how you didn't say a name.
Yeah, I'm not going to. You can guess.
It's nothing but Zima.
Oh wow,
that would be a problem.
Wow, do they still make that? They do, don't they?
I feel like I see it every once in a while. It's just like
it comes and goes. It's one of those things.
Seltzers are the popular things now. That replace the Zimas.
And you know what? We're doing seltzers at New Realm. We're not putting them out into distribution or anything, but we have people that come into our place that like to drink them, so we make some. Just small amounts. But we've kind of figured it out, and they present their own challenges to make a good one. So it's was a project for sure.
Wow.
Whatever happened to vodka soda, man? Like it's
Right?
anyway.
Seems so much easier.
All right.
Easier
Let's
for
talk about
bartenders
this
than
final
for
beer.
serve.
Yeah, so this is a beer called Steel and Coal, and it's a play on the collaborators' names. Of course, my name Steel, and then the person we collaborated with was Matt Cole, who is the founding brewmaster of Fatheads Brewery up near Cleveland, Ohio. And Matt and I have brewed together probably 3 or 4 times now. Matt has become a really good friend of mine, and we brewed together when I was at Stone several times. And when we started New Realm, I called him up and I told him, I want you to be our first collaboration partner. And he couldn't do it because he was in the process of building a new production brewery in Ohio, and he couldn't make it down when we were planning on doing the beer. So we went in a different direction. But I got Matt down earlier this year, and we brewed this batch of beer, and it was a great experience, and it was fun to show Matt around Atlanta. He had never really spent a lot of time here, so I tried to take him to some of the great beer places, and we went to Bold Monk, and we went to Brick Store Pub in Decatur, and we went to the Porter. So I got to show Matt around a bit, and that was part of the fun of the collaboration. But this beer is something we didn't want to just do an IPA, and that's kind of what we're both known for is IPAs. So we decided to do a twist on that and do an India Pale Lager. And so this is fermented with Pilsner yeast, and it's brewed with Pilsner malt, but then we dry hopped it like an IPA. And so it's got a lot of IPA characteristics in it. And the hop, yeah, the hops, one of the hops in here is a new hop called Strata. And Strata is a hop that came from Oregon, and people talk about it as having the flavor of a bag of weed, basically. It's got that kind of marijuana dank.
I don't know what that smells like.
Yeah.
Oh,
With
wow.
family show.
Falling on deaf ears, but
Dandelions. Sir.
Okay, I thought it would have great grassy. Yes, okay.
Give him cover.
The other hop in here is Simcoe, which is one of our favorite hops, and it's kind of an old school classic American hop. The two combined together made for a really nice beer. It's really dry. It's about 7% alcohol, about 50 to 60 IBUs. So, again, it's not really intense on the bitterness, but it's got a lot of hop character, and it's, because it's a lager and fermented like a lager, it's pretty clean on the palate.
Yeah, it's one of those. You
Mitch,
can
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is this you on the can?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's me. And
Love
then,
Nice.
and then that's Matt. So they kind of industrialized us a little bit, made us look a little more macho than we really are, but it's pretty cool.
That's
And
really cool.
little piece of trivia about Matt. Matt's probably one of the most awarded brewers in the country with Great American Beer Festival and World Beer Cup Awards. And he's also a champion barbecue guy. So he's passionate about everything that he dives into and really, really takes it to a very high level. And just a great guy, and good to hang out with.
Yeah, beer and barbecue is always good.
Yeah,
Right?
that doesn't go together
So
at all,
good.
does it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I have to say, so when I first opened this can, it had like a sort of a distinct and somewhat odd smell.
Mm-hmm.
But the beer tastes amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
I think it's the Strata hop, honestly, because I think that hop is, people say it smells like marijuana, but there's also a lot of other kind of fruity character in that hop that's hard to identify. It's one of those hops that, people can't say, oh yeah, it's grapefruit or it's orange or it's lemon. It's kind of a melange of different fruit characters. And
It's like fruity bong water. No?
Yes.
If you put orange juice in the bottle for the water,
got it. You nailed it.
I mean, I heard that's what would happen, but
Now, hops are closely related to marijuana, though.
yeah.
Yeah, they're in the same. Let me see if I remember my genetics. They're in the same family. Yeah, they're very similar genetically, and I know there are people, given what's going on with marijuana legalization right now, there are people brewing beer and or brewing non-alcoholic beer with marijuana instead of hops, and it's legally you can't ever combine alcohol and marijuana, which is why you won't see beers with CBD in them or THC. But non-alcohol beer is fair game. So I know there's some people out west that are doing non-alcoholic beers with either THC in them or CBD.
Now, I know some of them are brewing beer with hemp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried any of that?
Yeah, and we've actually brewed a beer with hemp ourselves. What's legal to use in brewing is sterile hemp seeds, which you can get from Canada. And that's really the only approved hemp ingredient you can use in beer. We did a beer where we used some terpenes, which are essential oils from hemp that are extracted, and we use those in the beer like a hop. And we could not get it approved by the TTB, which is the government agency that gives you label approval for beers, because we weren't using the seed from the hemp plant. We were using a terpene extract, and they're just not comfortable with that yet.
Okay.
Wow. Do you see that as a like a viable evolution for beers?
We talk about this a lot, and I remember when we started, my two partners were like, we're never going to do a marijuana themed beer or anything like that. And then a year and a half later, we're doing a chocolate brownie marijuana beer. And, so yeah, never say never, right? Things have changed. I don't know if the TTB is ever going to allow any other mind-altering substance in an alcoholic beverage. I honestly don't. They had a real problem with absinthe for years, and I just don't see it happening. That said, there's brewers like Sweetwater here in Atlanta who really has made a name for themselves recently with doing these beers that are flavored like strains of marijuana. And they're not using marijuana in those things. They're probably using some sort of fruit-derived terpenes. I honestly don't know what they're doing, but the beers are pretty amazing.
And I know New Belgium had their hemp IPA.
Yeah, same kind of deal.
Emperor, I think it was called.
Yeah, the Emperor, and it tastes like marijuana.
It definitely did. It had a very strong flavor to that.
Yeah, so I don't know how this is going to play out. It's something we're watching.
Yeah, my 2 cents, only because I think it would be amazing to do that, but because of like the Four Loko kind of stuff, like where there was 2 pretty strong active ingredients.
Yeah.
Alcoholic substance. Like I think that also is going to be a pretty big history lesson.
Like how far do you let them amp it up,
Right. Not that I'm against it. It's
But that's an interesting point, and something that we've talked about is the fact that if you put like the dosing rate of an edible into a bottle of beer, people aren't going to drink more than 1 beer, or they're going to get so stupid that so ideally in the beer business, people come in and drink a few, right?
Or do something like that and make it into a spirit, and
there you go. There you go. See, now we're coming up with some stuff. A couple beers in, that's when you start coming up with brilliant ideas.
Well, and then Colorado now they're talking about the magic mushrooms, and so what? We're going to add that to beer, and we're going to brew. Then we've got some serious shit here.
You want to clear out your afternoon.
Trippy IPA.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's not an all-day drinker right there. That's a one and done.
One and done.
All right. Well, let's give Michael his proper introduction. Michael Meyer, local musician here in Atlanta. He's going to play a couple songs for us. But first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and
Sure.
how you got started with music and what you're doing?
I mean, when I talked to you earlier, I've sort of prepped myself and started thinking about that question. There's never a time in my life when I don't remember loving music. Even as a small child, I was always clamoring for the radio to be turned on if it wasn't on, and started buying 45s. Those were small 7 inches.
Yep.
But
Yep.
some may know, some may not. But and albums as a kid, like when I'd get money at Christmas or birthdays or something, like that's what I saved it all for that. And then when I started, working or doing tours and getting an allowance, it was always spent on music. So it's just always been a part of my life. I have my mother to thank for that. She was a big influence. My mom was not a musician per se, although she loved music, but she was a ballroom dancer, and that's what she loved to do, amongst many other things. But that really was the love of music from just a young, like I said, I don't ever remember my life without it and not sort of clamoring for it for more. I grew up in a small city in southern New Jersey called Vineland. And so if you draw a line, say, between Atlantic City at the shore and Philadelphia, Vineland is somewhere in the middle. I always tell people I'm from the actual garden part of the Garden State. But I've lived in Atlanta most of my life now, a long time. And, I moved down here to go to school really for audio engineering. And soon didn't really like being on that side of the glass. So been playing in bands for a long time. Everything from original bands to fraternity circuit bands. The current band that works the most right now is sort of a British, not really British invasion, but early 60s to about mid 70s rock and roll band.
Nice.
I've had a mod band, the Lizard Men. We just celebrated 25 years last November, which was phenomenal. And before I forget, on the going back to the beer thing for a minute, I met my current girlfriend at a craft beer tasting. I just want to say, I had to work that in there somehow.
Excellent.
So I think when I was younger, my mom let me get involved with music as, at least in her mind, a way to keep me out of trouble. If she only knew how much trouble I've been in for 40 plus years at this point.
What music's led you to, right?
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, and your relationship with music changes over time too. So right now I'm very much into like the singer-songwriter thing, which is something new for me because I'm not really that sort of player. But matter of fact, the first song I'm going to play tonight is from just a wonderful singer-songwriter named Tom Waits. And the song I'm going to do for you guys is called Old 55. It was his opening track on his debut album. The album itself was recorded in 1972, so quite a long time ago. It was done in Los Angeles and Hollywood at Sunset Sound was one of the studios, and also United Western. So if you know anything about recording or music, certainly from that era, those were two like banging studios. The Beach Boys did a bunch of their stuff at Western, and just fantastic. This track was released in 1973, like I said. His debut album was covered just like a year later by the Eagles, oddly enough, and so some people know it from that. But I'll play it for you now if that's a go with you guys.
Let's go. Let's hear it. Yeah.
All right. Well, my time went so quickly, it went lickety-splitty out to my old 55. As I pulled away slowly, feeling so holy, God knows I was feeling alive. And now the sun's coming up, wishing I stayed a little longer. Oh Lord, you know the feeling getting stronger. At 6 in the morning, gave me no warning. I had to be on my way. Well, the trucks all passing, the lights all flashing. I'm on my way home from your place. And now the sun's coming up, riding with lady luck. Freeways, cars and trucks, the stars beginning to fade, and I lead the parade, just a wishing I stayed a little longer. Oh Lord, you know the feeling's getting stronger. Yeah, my time went so quickly, it went lickety splitly out to my old 55. As I pulled away slowly, feeling so holy, God knows I was feeling alive. And now the sun's coming up, riding with lady luck. Freeways, cars and trucks. Freeways, cars and trucks. Freeways, cars and trucks. Little Tom Waits.
Excellent, excellent job.
Thank you, thank you.
That was a great song. And
Thank you.
so I think Sean's going to have the first cocktail this evening to talk about.
No, fine. Yeah, actually, I think that kind of put me in the right mood for that too. Not quite necessarily Caribbean, but still like along the same lines. So my mind's set the last couple of weeks started going towards tiki cocktails. So I actually have made some orgeat, and we're gonna do a couple classics. One that isn't necessarily a tiki cocktail, but for a while was claimed by Trader Vic. So depending on who you listen to, it
That Trader Vic.
I actually did too much research on the second one. This first one we're going to do is called the Beachcomber, and that is a Trader Vic's signature classic. It is one of their cocktails. It is served up. So what we're going to do is we're going to need some ice in our tin, which of course conveniently froze together since we started. So pardon me, we're going to make some noise for 1 second. There we go. Oops, dropped it on my keyboard. Nice. All right. So for this cocktail, we're going to use 2 ounces of clear rum. Half ounce of your favorite orange liqueur, triple sec, orange curacao. I'm using a little bit of Grand Marnier. That's also what I had in my house.
Whatever's laying
stuff.
around.
Yeah.
Orange liqueur you've got laying around.
Right. If you made some orange cello a few weeks ago, that'll also work.
Yeah.
I just realized I have that 2 feet below me, and I didn't grab that. I should have done that. That would have been great. All right, so we're also going to use about half an ounce of orgeat, which is an almond syrup that has a little bit of orange flower water and brandy or vodka in it. It's like just a classic tiki ingredient. It's used in a lot of them. And it's really just pounded almonds you boil together with some simple syrup. Let that sit for 8 hours, and you have, once you have the flower water and the vodka, orgeat.
And then you said lime juice as well, right?
Yep. We're going to use 3/4 ounce lime juice. and a splash of Luxardo maraschino liqueur. Does not
Give me
taste
a
like
whole-
maraschino cherries, in case you're wondering. But they got the name first. All right, with those in there, we're gonna give it a quick little shake. I like at the top of the screen, I can see everyone playing along with the home game. That makes me pretty happy. All right, and we're gonna get our martini glass. Or whatever similar type glass that you might have.
I think from now on, Sean, every time you give me an up drink, I'm gonna put it in the reservoir. Look at frothy and everything, frothy and ready to go.
I like that.
That is good. Very good stuff.
All right.
Smooth.
Yeah. I mean, that's sitting on a beach, man, listening to some music.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now I want to see Hula Girls. Is it just me?
Dancing girls, where are you?
I mean, just now, or I mean, always.
Well, always, but especially now that I have this drink.
What would you garnish this with? Like maybe a lime wheel?
I was gonna say orange wheel, but lime wheel would work. Cucumber actually would be a good one.
Or a cherry? Maybe? No, you hate it, don't you? Like right down here in the bottom of the reservoir, the cherry sitting right here would look good, no?
I mean, if we're gonna do that, let's just do like a pineapple flag on the side.
Full on.
Nice.
Actually, you know what? I would make like a mango ice cube and just put like one orange one right in the center.
You go too far. You go too far.
And yet, it'd be delicious. God, this is dangerous. Like, I know I've made 3 of these this week, like getting ready for the show, but I'm like,
This week or tonight?
Well,
Research and development.
technically both. Like this week, so like I made one at work. I brought my own stuff, guys. Don't get mad. Just to be like taste it, like, hey, does this taste right? I'm gonna do this on the show. Of course, then today I made a batch for Ian, a batch for you guys. Set aside some stuff for myself. I'm like, so I'm like, this has been an all-day exercise.
Why not? Make it an all-day affair. That's what Fridays are for now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I can do that. All right, I'm gonna put that right there.
Fridays are turning into that day.
The whole like COVID lockdown is turning into that.
Sure is. It's just like a big Friday.
Yeah.
When you start drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning, you know you're on
Breakfast, right?
lockdown. Yeah.
Once you start
Vodka.
drinking oatmeal stout.
Yeah. Pour vodka on my fucking Cheerios.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what COVID will do to you.
Wow.
I like it.
Damn. All right, so I'm kind of curious. Michael, as a musician, and you kind of inferred to the amount of trouble that you can get into in that field. What was your first like hard liquor drink?
Oh wow! Like so, that's a good question. One of my earliest memories of it was one of my uncles, my Uncle Alfred, who was known as Uncle Frisket. I never knew why, but he would come over. So I'm half Italian, so he would come over and visit my nonna that I grew up with, and I remember them sitting around the table. And like, I think they were playing cards and, you know, smoking cigarettes like everybody did at that time. And he would like to drink whiskey. So I remember him picking me up off the floor and sitting me in his lap and saying, come up here, let me teach you how to play cards. And so he had this whiskey thing and he said, here, and he like stuck his finger in the glass and then like jammed it in my mouth. I was like, wow, that's like, okay. And I mean, I moved away from that house when I was like 8. So it had to be before that. The funny thing was, as if that was enough, then because I was 6 or 7 and tripping on some whiskey taste for the first time, he let me play with, he had one of those lighters. If you're old enough to remember, he had a lighter that had a hula dancer on it. And if you flipped it over, her clothes fell off. So true story. So I was sitting in his lap and he's like playing cards, smoking cigarettes. And I'm like with the lighter, like, true story. First memory of hard liquor.
Solid. That's a good memory.
Yeah, I was pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that moment, actually. Funny.
My dad would let us sip his Chivas. I remember that at a fairly young age. You want to go to bed tonight? Here, take a sip of this. And go to bed.
Yeah. But, like when you're a kid, that stuff can go either way, right? It either tastes really great and interesting or like gas. And you're like, oh. And it takes you years later to come back to like, oh, I remember that flavor. That was Uncle Billy.
I think the Gen Xers were the last kids that were allowed to drink liquor and it was socially acceptable.
Yeah. Weird, right? Weird. I'm not that old. I refuse to believe it.
Hey, it's the 20s, man. It'll come back around.
Like,
Like another 10, 12
You either
years.
want to admit you're old or admit you're a millennial.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm definitely not that.
See, depending on the millennial family you were in, military families were, for that part of the story, are a little bit cooler about it. Just saying, every Thanksgiving, I got 2 fingers of wine.
Yes.
Like, look,
Thanksgiving holidays were always great for the kids drinking.
Well, it's weird too, like different cultures. Like I feel like I learned how to drink because half my family was Italian, the other half was Irish, but drink was around all the time. It wasn't taboo. So it's like, would you like a little taste of wine with dinner? Yeah, okay, great. That'd be great. It was no big deal. So when I was old enough, it was just okay.
See, I grew up in a total like on the lake house in Minnesota, and with a full screened in porch overlooking the lake, and then a full wet bar behind it. This is my dad's house that he it's like it has a full refrigerator and tap handles and that on the full wet bar behind. It's like,
Love
all
it.
right, that's.
I love that, man.
I will say this: never give your kids a sliding glass door in their bedroom. I snuck out so many times, and I snuck so many people in and out of that room.
Yes. Dude, that was like party house. Sounds like.
Oh my God, I swear. It's like I was like with the can of WD-40s making sure that door never squeaked.
Yeah,
I love that story so much.
Like, come on in, sliding glass door to my bedroom. The lake was out there. You could sneak right around the side of the house and get right in.
What part of Minnesota was that in?
It was in the cities, the northwest part of Minneapolis, Bass Lake, Maple Grove, Plymouth area.
Okay. My girlfriend Megan is from Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to ask.
I grew up on
Bass
Lake.
Like,
Bass Lake Road.
All right. I'm going to move on.
Yes, next cocktail, please.
To the next cocktail, my friends.
I'm already in trouble with my mom, so might as well get drunk too.
What about your mom?
Are we going there now?
No, I was.
Let's have another
grabbing
drink.
some ice. I couldn't hear you.
Moms.
And all of a sudden, it's your mom. Speaking of your mom, this next cocktail is called the Suffering Bastard. Oh crap! I just dropped a bunch of ice. So this is, depending on who you talk to another tiki cocktail.
I should have lit my tiki torches tonight.
Yeah, well. So this
One
is a
right behind.
disputed origin cocktail, but the earliest. So Trader Vic has a cocktail called the Suffering Bastard. It is mostly different ingredients except for lime juice and a couple dashes of bitters. Otherwise, it's pretty different. So the earliest version that came about 28 years before that, from 1942, at the Shepherd's Bar Hotel in Cairo, Egypt, is what we're going to make tonight. But we're going to modify it by adding, instead of simple syrup, a little orgeat to kind of make it a tiki cocktail. So, Suffering Bastard, this was technically a hangover cure. This is more of a hair of the dog kind of hangover cure. It takes 1 ounce of bourbon.
And I'm using rye tonight.
Ian's going to use rye. Because that's
I'm a rye.
That's, you know what, I'm not against it. I'm going to do
I'm a
1
rye
ounce
guy.
of gin.
Oh, nice. The bullet.
Oh, I love the bullet.
Yeah.
You know what, I'm going to put my couple dashes in right now so it makes this a little bit better. So 2 dashes of Angostura. Half ounce of lime juice. About half an ounce of simple syrup.
And we're using,
Or sorry, I said simple syrup. I meant orgeat.
yeah, the orgeat.
Give it a little stir just to kind of combine those.
He's not looking.
Some more cubes, and then we're going to top it with ginger ale. Or sorry, it's ginger beer. Ginger ale was the original recipe. Beer, a little bit more modified, but because of the sweetness of the orgeat and the spiciness of the ginger beer, I think it's going to work a little bit better. And then finally, you garnish it with a mint sprig. And one of the proper ways to do that is to give it a nice little slap, just to express
Come on,
the
say it, John. Say it.
Spank it. Spank it, my friends.
Smack
Spank it
my
hard.
mint up.
Spank it often.
Smack my mint up.
I like the Prodigy reference. And there you have a Suffering Bastard. I'm going to switch back to my camera and enjoy it. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Boy, that's delicious.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Especially if you get your nose in that mint while you're taking the sip.
Yeah.
Stick your nose in there, Ian.
Yeah.
The aromatics. Wonderful.
Yeah. And then and ginger and bitters are known to settle your stomach. So if you're hungover, theoretically, those are going to help. The hair of the dog part, the rest of it's going to keep you going. But they're as legend has it, during World War II, specifically at the bar, the Shepherd's Bar where this was created, the Germans would frequent it, and allies had been there too, depending on the time of the war. It became so popular that they gave out the recipe, and barrels of it were ordered for troops at the front line for the Allied forces to kind of lift their spirits a little bit. So, yeah. Cheers to troops and to history.
Mm-hmm.
And the bartenders.
Yes.
Dang delicious is all I got to say.
Love
That's
it.
good stuff.
That's a nice drink.
Good, thank you.
So you mentioned Trader Vic before.
Mhm.
Do you know one of the most amazing things about Atlanta is we have one of the few remaining Trader Vics here.
Yes, we do. I've been there a couple times.
I think there's like maybe 6 in this country or 8 globally or something. We have one of the last ones. Crazy. And
Yeah.
so much fun every time you go.
And it's in the basement of the Hilton downtown?
Hilton, yes.
Yeah.
On Cortland, yes.
I hate to say that I've been there for Dragon Con for like the last 10 years.
No Dragon Con this
It's a
year.
great reason to go.
Mm. It's right there, and you're like, oh man, tiki cocktails. I'm in a costume. Let's go.
I will
That's
say
a fun night, right? Costume, cocktails, good.
I will say that the canceling of Dragon Con this year is definitely good for our fantasy football league because now we can get our.
Officially?
Yeah, that's been canceled. I saw a news story. It was.
Oh man.
Somebody just got the news.
I emailed them last week. They said they were still going.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I mean, who knows?
You ain't having no parade in your fuzzy this year.
I love
Poor
it.
Sean.
It's one of my things.
You know what though? I don't get a 311 cruise next year probably either. So we're even.
So we're gonna have a backyard party at Ian's house. I'm gonna wear a costume,
Yes.
and we're gonna have more tiki cocktails. All right,
That
so I
sounds
think
like a fun night.
The Labor Day party, after party, we'll probably have that here.
I like that. I'll leave that up to actually to fate. I'm not gonna go down that road. But yeah, that sounds good. Every Labor Day party is a mystery for me, and by mystery I mean I don't remember a lot of them.
I remember the gold Speedo jumping off the rock. And we're going to talk about this.
Oh,
Wait a minute. I don't know if I need to hear more than this, but I like shockingly want to hear more about it.
You remember Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah.
Yeah, with that. It was Rocky's trunks.
Youch.
I'm not Rocky. Let's be honest. And I put them on. I bought them. I read from out of the package and just threw them on under my pants. Never looked in the mirror. And then just hopped in a raft and took my pants off.
Because it's Labor Day. Who needs to look?
Labor Day. And
So a little more backstory on this one.
Oh.
Where we were in Canoe, they throw us a huge Labor Day party. Basically, Vince, who's the GM, and he's the greatest guy in the world, he'll throw this huge party for us. He closes the restaurant down on Labor Day.
Nice.
Pays for all of us to be bussed up to a spot and pays for all the rafts, and they raft us down the river to Canoe from Powers Island or wherever the spot is there. And so it takes about 2 hours, 3 hours. So when we pull up to Canoe finally, they've got a big spread of food and beer and everything that we want there, and they have a big party, and they give away like, TVs and stuff like that.
Nice.
For all the employees of the restaurant. And, it's such a cool thing that they do for us. And it's such a way for the staff to blow off steam and get to hang out with each other and get to know each other. And, especially the new people. Like, I remember when I was brand new, I've been at Canoe almost 6 years now. And I started, and it was like 2 weeks in, and they're like, "Oh, come to the Labor Day party." And I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be, and from the restaurant I came at before that, I was like, "Oh, shit." It's like, "Oh, what are these people going to be like? I'm brand new here. I can't let my hair down. I can't do what I do normally." So, and then, and then I show up, and they're taking there's 4 guys that are carrying this drunk, passed out girl across the parking lot.
That's always
like,
good
okay,
at a company
maybe
party.
I work at the right place.
Yeah. I'm never leaving.
I'm home.
Oh my
And then-
God.
so
And then the next year for the Labor Day party, my son was born like not even 2 weeks before. We
Oh.
brought him to the party. So he didn't go rafting that year. Last year was his first year to raft, but we're all like, getting off the river after 2 or 3 hours on the river drinking beer. So you're getting 6 or 7 in before you get to the restaurant. And we're passing him around. He's 2 weeks old.
He's probably loving it.
Oh, the baby.
Yeah, that kid was probably loving it, man.
Oh, he's been to every party since.
Oh yeah.
He's grown up in that restaurant, and everybody, when he comes in, everybody knows him. Like Vince has a special job for him when he comes in. Like you'll see when he comes in, Vince will run and throw napkins under the table, and George gets somebody's flashlight and finds all the napkins, and then gets to sit down and have a donut. But it's sad because we don't do that anymore with all the shutdown stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but you know what, man? That kid's gonna be like, Dad, I still remember like being passed around this party when I was a kid. I love that. The memories.
yeah.
Right. Are we ready to move
Well,
on to the next song?
I've got blackmail on that kid already.
Oh, jeez. George.
I love that.
So, Michael, you got one more song for us, right?
Well, you know what? I do, but I have one more song technically, yes. But somebody told me it was somebody's birthday earlier this week. So currently the band I play in the most is called the Rain Men. And every time it's somebody's birthday, people come like, hey, can you play happy birthday to so-and-so at these gigs? So I'm going to play happy birthday to Alicia as best as I can, because I got to say, this stuff from Bastard is woo, good.
Got you ready.
You're welcome.
I didn't eat any dinner either, so this is going to be great.
Oh, you're gonna die.
All right, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alicia. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Alicia. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to get that in there for her. But yes,
Well,
I am going to do a different song. Yes.
She'll probably come hang out with us a little bit later, maybe.
Yeah.
Unless she's furious right now.
Oh no. Oh
No, she's not.
Goodness. All right.
She'll be all right. I'm looking up to see if she's glaring at me out the window.
He's like, dude, I can't believe you told that dude.
See the red eyes.
Oh my God. Who is that old guy playing me happy birthday?
There she is.
All right, so maybe this next song is really for you then. Again, the Rain Men, we do a lot of like early 60s through about mid 70s. And of course, one of my biggest influences growing up was the Beatles. Duh. So for the age that, my era that I grew up, Beatles, Beach Boys, Elton John, man, that was the thing. So I'm going to do this Beatles song. We do this in the Rain Man all the time. I've done this several times by myself. I'm going to do it now for you. He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans come by. Doesn't have a point of view, he knows not where he's going to. Isn't he a bit like you and me? Nowhere man, please listen. You don't know what you're missing. Nowhere man, the world is at your command. La, 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 la. Do-do-do. He's as blind as he can be. He just sees what he wants to see. Nowhere man can you see me. at all. No way, man, don't hurry. Take your time, don't worry. Leave it all till somebody else lends you a hand. He doesn't have a point of view, knows not where he's going to. Isn't he a bit like you and me? No way, man, please listen. You don't know all that you're missing. No way, man, the world is at your command. He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody. Making all his nowhere plans for nobody. Making all his nowhere plans for nobody.
Yes.
A classic.
Yes. Great job.
Thank you, thank you. Man, thanks for having me on tonight. Thanks to
Yes.
everybody, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you to everybody.
I'm just gonna show up next week.
Yeah. Watch next week. Watching on Facebook, definitely share, like the video. We need all that. We'll be definitely showing this on YouTube later on, a few extra outtakes with before and after the show. So definitely hit subscribe on that. But I wanted to say thank you to my guest, Mitch Steele. Thank you to Michael Meyer, our musical guest tonight. And then, of course, Sean's with us as well. Hey, we like to promote people with great causes. If you have one, again, our email is beer@thebeerytraveler.beer. Hit us up. We'll bring you on, have a few drinks with you. We'll talk about whatever, beer, wine, music. We like talking about everything. So definitely hit us up. Again, I'm the Beery Traveler. My name is Ian. You guys have a great night. Thanks again for everything. We'll see you next Friday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we're off Facebook.
And we're off.
Yes.
Hey, that was really great, guys. Really, really wonderful. That was
a good one.
Holy shit, that was a lot of fun.
that.
A lot of fun.
Honestly, when Ian brought me on and said, "Hey, this is what I want to do," this show right here was exactly what I envisioned. It had every aspect of every part that I was hoping would be there.
Best
So,
one yet.
yeah, no, it was great. No,
Very
and
cool.
I actually, I don't know if you were there, but I'd met a few people and I got in your card at the United Trade Show there. And I had pulled out all my business cards and was like, no, we need to get them on here. So I appreciate you coming forward. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
And by the way, I think you can do a ginger beer stout. Just put that in your head.
Yeah,
There you
it's there. It's there.
Oh my God.
I tell you what, this ginger beer, this is
It's
phenomenal.
good, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good ginger
Really
beer.
good.
That is
Rick,
That
got
good.
one's good.
Yeah.
That one actually is
Very
really
good
good.
job.
I really like Q, which we use at Canoe. The
Yeah.
Q ginger beer is really good also.
All right, I'm gonna
And
say
then
this real quick.
1821 is like my next one.
Oh, that's a really good one. We use that one in Antico.
I mean, 1821. So the problem is they're sold in 4-packs. I'd never had this before, and it's a 6-pack of tiny cans. I'm like, yes, perfect.
Tiny
for
cans.
kids.
Tiny
So
cans are
honestly,
good.
I went into this not knowing what this tasted like. So it was a risk, and I'm glad I took it.
All right, so
Next.
hang for a second because I'm gonna. It's bathroom break time. So
Go
Oh,
for it.
good
You go
idea.
for it.
Good
I'll be back.
idea, my brother.
It was funny. I was in Nebraska just talking about beer and whatever and cheese, beer and cheese. I was in Nebraska, in Omaha, Nebraska, and I went to the hotel in the place, and they were like, "Oh, what?" I asked what their specials were, and their special was beer soup. I'm like, isn't that just beer? But apparently it was a beer cheese soup, but they said beer soup. I was
Oh,
like, okay, yeah, all right.
Wait,
No
where were you
problem.
again?
In Omaha, Nebraska. I was there with on my documentary, working on my documentary.
Weird.
Yep, completely. It was
Yeah.
just random moments of things going on.
beer cheese soup is pretty wonderful if it's done right.
If it's done right, yes. But it was interesting because most people say cheese soup.
Right.
You know, I understand that cheese soup has beer in it, but this was beer soup. I was like, isn't that just beer in a bowl?
So,
Ah,
so,
that's
so this
Minnesota
is,
thing. Beer cheese soup. It's a pretty common.
so like not
But this was
fondue,
beer
not beer.
It was the funniest thing. If you ask me, it was the funniest thing.
Oh, hey, there's the face of the disembodied godhead.
Indeed. So yeah, beer soup. It will. I don't know why that moment will just stick with me for the longest time, but that was the funny thing.
They have competitions about that in Wisconsin and Minnesota. So with that soup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a strong
I
answer.
don't
She's
know
not
what to say
lying.
about that.
I'm filling in during the bathroom break. So
No worries. No
that
worries.
was awesome.
And interesting, Sean, you know, I've actually been to Trader Vic's in Beverly Hills numerous times.
I
And
actually have never been to the Beverly Hills location. I've been to two, but
well, after 24 years, I think I've been there, gosh, more than a handful of times. Absolutely.
Like,
And Jen was talking about their bananas Foster being amazing.
Yeah, quit eating.
oh man,
So,
Mm.
yep.
tell you about the floors.
And just talking about Rocky Horror, I was I guess just young enough to experience the A Street Playhouse in New York City, going to the theater and seeing it, you know, back in the 80s.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember doing the same in the late '70s, where I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and going to they had midnight showing every Friday night, and
Yeah.
crazy.
So when
Yeah.
I
I think that's how
was
everybody saw it, right? When they were like bringing toast and weird shit to throw at the screen.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, they did everything there.
Oh my God, like so much fun. Here in Atlanta, they did, for years they did, they would do a midnight screening at the Plaza, and then have actors act it out as the movie was going on. So it was kind of like really theatrical, really cool.
I
I just
don't-
heard on NPR that the Plaza Theater, you know, they do, you know how they have that woman who always interviews like this entertainment that's happened in Georgia. The
Yeah.
Plaza Theater, since they're on hold, are doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show live via Zoom meeting.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Really?
Join in with
Love that.
700 other people, and they keep everybody's volume on so everybody can like scream whatever they want, and all at the same time.
Where's your fucking neck? That's the only one I remember.
Nice.
So-
Very cool. I like that. And
I know we're slightly off in age groups.
right.
But
Yeah.
I like
You're older than
my exact what's that?
Are you older than we are?
No, Sean's probably the youngest.
No,
I'm 83
Sean's youngest.
Sean's the youngest, I think.
for sure.
He's the baby.
That's fine. I just got facial hair in the last 8 months. It's been cool.
Sweet.
It was a handlebar right before COVID, and I had to shave it off, and I'm kind of angry about that because it doesn't work with a mask. Just the wax hits your cheek.
Dude, beard problems.
My
Yes.
introduction to Rocky Horror Picture was the same. It was someone going, "Hey, Friday night, there's a live show here in Phoenix where we go to this screening, and people, like actors, get up on stage. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And I went and like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a weirdly like the experience is same across a few generations now. It's really strange. Like everybody's like, "Hey, we're gonna go. These chicks are going to Rocky Horror. You want to go to midnight? Okay. What the fuck? We're gonna smoke weed and drink beer. Okay." Like
The house have been released.
Yeah, and that happens now. Like at like I speak at a lot of Comic Cons, like Dragon Con, and you go and almost all of them have some screening of Rocky Horror Picture, and that's a very similar fashion, even at those locations too. Where they're like, no, the nerds like this. We're gonna do it, and they'll have like a local theater company come out. They'll have cardboard cutouts and do like the entire staged performance with the movie.
that's so cool.
Right.
I love it.
It's almost like the whole glam rock era, right? With David Bowie and Rocky Horror. Like Comic-Con couldn't exist without that.
No, because it's that extravagant, outlandish,
Over the top, like costumes and like omnisexual or whatever. It's weird, but good.
That's right.
Hi guys.
Hey,
Bonjour.
how you doing?
Alicia?
Hmm.
Are you
Happy
Alicia?
birthday,
I am.
Carol.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Oh my God. I'm going.
Come say hello, George. Come say hello.
Wait, George awake still? Oh my God.
So,
The
so
4-year-old.
Mick, I need to
Love
say, I feel like I'm not an
Rockstar.
IPA person, but all three of those IPAs were
Phenomenal.
super
Come here.
approachable.
Come on, George. Come here.
And I really enjoyed all of them.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, and I was constantly checking in. I'm like going, wait a second, I don't like IPAs, but these were like really, really good.
Thank you very much.
I don't
That's
care about.
Super balanced, super like, and I understand the concept of the IPA and what that is, and I like Indian IPA, which is odd because I like Indian food, and IPA with Indian food just like works.
Yeah.
The glass.
These are
Thanks.
really good.
All right.
Thank
say
you.
hello, George.
Hello.
Look at the-
Hey,
Hey George, hello. How you doing?
You are so cute.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're gonna pretend to be shy, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you're shy now all of a sudden? Anybody
Very
who
good.
works canoe knows that this kid's not shy. This is the one we were talking about was passed around at 2 weeks old at the canoe party.
Oh, yeah.
George, you're already famous.
Because y'all the party I was shy. That was my first time there.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it
That was
was.
just the first time you remember.
Did you go on the boat last year?
Yeah.
Did you see this guy jump off the rock with a golden
Gold bathing
Speedo?
suit.
Remember
I
that?
remember that.
No?
Right, he's
never
still frightened by
forget
that image.
Small piece of my brain that's been fried.
Hi.
He needs to go to bed.
Bedtime, buddy.
Take your book and go
Did
back
you
to
see
bed.
glass? He made the last.
Lemonade.
Oh yeah. Ian, did you see that glass? Here, hold up.
Which one is that? Oh,
Nice.
Ah,
Vintage,
Viking.
vintage.
Vintage from a gas station or some shit. Where'd you get
No.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my parents.
I've got some old Viking stuff.
Yeah. I
I've
grew
got
up
to meet
in
some
Noah.
old Vikings.
Oh my
I
god.
got to meet Chris Dolman once.
Oh yeah, cool.
Vince just grabbed something off the shelf.
Such a
Wait,
cool
Yeah,
what's
guy.
that?
I want to see something vintage.
Remember a guy named
There you
Fran
go.
Parkington?
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Wow,
That's
that's awesome.
Love it.
Oh my god.
Love it.
Very cool.
I had this weird job for a while at Tower Place in Buckhead, and I would go down in the cafe and I'd eat lunch, and I kept looking at this guy, and his hair was like sort of shaggy and longish, but dyed blonde, and I kept thinking, where the fuck do I know this guy from? Little kid. They're not old. And I thought,
No, you're fine. You can swear all you want. We don't
like,
give a
holy
fuck around here.
cow, like I figured out it was Fran Tarkenton. Fran Tarkenton had played at Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And now he has like a financial services company or something
Yes.
that's in Tower Place.
He lives in
And I
town here.
see him down there all the time.
Oh, wow.
I have his autograph. I've got a weird, extensive autograph library, but I have him, and I've got a autograph and a picture of me and Herschel Walker.
Oh,
Ah, very
that's
cool.
good. What
which
was the
apparently
first
is a very
time
Georgia
you-
thing. I was like, oh, okay, what?
Was he doing the pose?
No, actually, he in 1985. Yes, I'm old. 1985, he did a McDonald's commercial,
Oh,
and
I love it.
my mom worked on the commercial, and she brought me to work with her that day.
oh.
How cool
That's
is
a good
that,
day-
man?
that's a good day to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Not too shabby.
That's
I mean,
part of
through that, I also met Hank
knows
Aaron,
it.
Oh.
Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Whitey
Well,
Ford,
Those are
Reggie
legends.
Billy Martin.
Legends.
What year
Yep.
did you meet Joe DiMaggio?
See, it's
I-
actually bad. You got that, Sean.
in there.
Actually, not
86.
bad.
Yeah,
That's high
probably it's all happened in the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
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 Wow. That's
Dude,
so
those are huge like sports stars, man.
Oh, I have Pele's autograph, Muhammad Ali. My stepfather
You met
worked
Pele?
on. Yeah. Well, I didn't meet
What?
Pele. I didn't meet him, but I got a soccer ball signed by Pele.
That's
Which I-
awesome.
Just soccer ball? Oh yeah, I mean, that's not anything.
Just a
Uh,
soccer ball.
Well, my stepfather worked on the Mean Joe Green, the Coca-Cola commercial that he throws the jersey, the iconic
Oh,
commercial.
yeah.
He worked on that. I've got a picture of him with Mean Joe Green in.
They still get mileage out of that ad.
Oh,
They
yeah.
still, I mean, it's got to be 40 plus years that
It
that
is
thing
the
is run.
most iconic, probably, commercial of all time.
Oh, one up, no question, no question.
Yeah. Definitely.
So.
So I want to tell you guys, like, thanks for having me on tonight.
Oh
Far
yeah.
exceeded all my expectations. These drinks were freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
The
Yeah.
beers were awesome. I have to concur with Ty. Like Euphonium, I love that beer. I didn't know either of these three, but they progressively got better and better and better. It was just like, wow, these beers are just like amazing. And I'm so not an IPA guy, just like Ty. So not an IPA guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good job, man.
Really,
Great job.
Really
thank
awesome.
you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
cool. And Megan liked them too. And she is an IPA guy. Just kidding.
I mean, I, yeah,
Whatever you're into,
like-
man. It's cool.
and I like.
I love
It's
it.
not Halloween yet.
Not yet.
Huh?
Michael Myers. Wait, I had an S on it.
Well, you can either do that or the Austin Powers thing.
Yeah, you know what? I always say I'm much more the comedian than I am the killer.
Yeah.
True story. I say it like
the jury might be out on that.
1996, 96-ish, 97 maybe. I went as Austin Powers to a Halloween party. So at that time I was playing in a mod band. So I already had all the freaking clothes. I got the shirt and put fucking ruffles on it. I got loaded. It's hard to believe before I ever went to the party and stayed in character the whole night. So I'd be like, and it was this massive warehouse party that my buddy used to have this warehouse. And so you'd be in line like 20 people deep waiting to use the bathroom. And I'd be just talking shit to girls all night as Austin Powers. I was still single. It was so damn funny.
Funny.
We did Halloween. You just saw George. We did
Yeah.
Halloween as Dr. Evil and Mini-Me one year.
Oh,
Nice. Yes.
Nice.
That's a
They,
great one.
they had very poorly fitted bald caps.
But it worked.
Even better.
People loved it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Awesome.
They like to do the theme costumes, so the
Those are
father-son situation. It's kind of cute.
Those are fun, man. And Halloween, like for little kids, like is almost hallucinatory. Like they get to dress up and get a bunch of freaking candy, and then when I get older, it turns into liquor. What? Awesome.
We walk around the neighborhood with him with a wagon. And we're having our cocktails the whole time.
we
But
walk around the neighborhood with no child. But
Yeah.
we pretend.
But since we have to walk the kid around, we just pass out candy from the
Yeah.
wagon.
Dude, that's awesome. What a great idea. Take the
Little
mobile.
trick or treat.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, we see
Now
trick.
it's taking mobile and don't touch me.
Yeah.
We need to start making beer for the adults.
No.
That's what we
Sure,
did.
like
That's what we did.
mini bottles, something.
When our kids were young, neighbor and I would take a wagon and pack it full of beer on ice, and
Oh, yeah.
we'd give all the parents beer as they gave our kids candy. So
Yes.
nice trade.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Neighbor in the neighborhood, I'm
Awesome.
sure, man. I'm sure. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Who's got the full cans of beer? I remember as kids, you look for who's got the full cans of soda they're giving out. We had somebody up the street, like Coca-Cola,
So-
they gave us Sun
John,
Kiss.
you were talking about what was your first moment with liquor. I remember being somewhere between 5 and 8, and
That's a gap at that age.
Everybody
Come
back
on.
then.
What age was it?
The kids started early on the booze.
and my father, we were at some party. We're outdoors, upstate New York, and I remember my father had a beer, and I was like, "Can I try that?" And he was like, "Yeah, here, try this." And it was Genesee Cream Ale.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've had them. Yeah.
New York.
Jenny Cream.
Yeah, man.
I had an experience when I was 13. It was like my mom's aunt and uncle's 50th wedding anniversary. We go to Omaha, Nebraska, drive there, and my her uncle or her somebody had a bottle of cognac from the caves in the Philippines.
Whoa.
And they decided to open it that night, and my mom, it was just me and my mom at that party, and I'm like, "Mom, is it okay if I taste it?" She's like, "Yeah," because I said, "Because this ain't gonna happen another time in my lifetime." And then I go forward a few years later, and I then end up
Taste it daily now.
work for Hennessy Cognac, and like this cognac was.
Yeah.
I tasted cognac at 13 years old, and I must have liked it.
Oddly set the path for your life.
Yep, there you go.
The first liquor I ever tried was Jack Daniels. My mom had come back from some trip, probably from some work job that she did on an airplane, and she, the little bottles of Jack, and it was Jack Daniels, and I remember it was sitting there, and I just tried it, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Rocket fuel.
See, I remember
it was awful.
My first was definitely Scotch, but I couldn't tell you if it was Johnny Walker or Chivas.
Just say Johnny Walker.
You know.
I'm pretty sure it was Johnny Walker.
Either one, man. Great. That's
like
awesome.
this, or kind of like whiskey.
So I've got the Johnny Walker mirror picture, which is pretty cool. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I worked for
Johnny Walker. I love Johnny Walker, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I went to 2 tastings at the Playboy Mansion in Beverly Hills.
All right.
Hey, I'm thinking Johnny Walker in the Grotto is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
If rocks could talk.
We got a full class on Johnny Walker one time. So we learned that the red is for mixing and the black is for just sipping solo.
Yeah.
And they have one called Johnny Swing, which comes from the boats. And so the bottle itself sits like a curved bottom. So the bottle itself swings back and forth. Yeah.
I have a small bottle of blue here.
Yeah.
I have a big bottle.
But,
So the child is up all night. So Alicia's button out because she's gonna.
Understood. Alicia, happy birthday. Nice to meet you.
Take care.
So this last Super Bowl, I forgot when Super Bowls end, but one of the bartenders at Canoe, the only party he throws at his house is for the Super Bowl. He is from Kansas City.
Oh my God.
His dad went to Super Bowl like 4 or 3, the last one that Kansas City won, like
wow,
ages ago. And he's like, "Hey, come out." I'm like, "I haven't been to a Super Bowl party in, I don't know, 8 years." So I go, and I'm thinking like, all right, I got to be home at like 9:40. Sports aren't really my primary thing. So I go, and they're losing by 15 or whatever it is. I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna head out." And he had said, "Hey, there's this bottle of Johnny Blue up on my shelf. If they win, we're cracking that open." So they're losing, everything's going to shit. I'm like, "I'm gonna head out, see ya." I got to get up early and make breakfast for my daughter. I turn on the radio on the way home, and it's like all of a sudden they scored 20 points. I'm like, what the hell?
Have you not ever had the blue before?
I've had
Turn around
the
and
blue.
go back.
Luckily, I've had the blue before, but still.
No, there's one that's above that. It's like gold or black, or not
Yeah.
black, but gold or
Green.
Let me tell you.
green is not.
Red. It goes red, black, green, gold, blue.
Yeah.
Blue
Now
is-
they also have platinum now.
yes, but that's because
Now?
that replaced the golds. 'Cause
Yeah,
the
and I know the blue is like a blend of 60 single malts or something like that.
All
Yeah.
Johnny Walker
oldest-
blend.
Yeah.
All the
oldest and
Johnny
Yeah.
Walker blend.
So in another life, when I worked at a liquor store, the at Christmas they would sell the gift packs that had like red, black, blue, and people would come in just to buy it for the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just like,
Absolutely.
oh my god! It was like it was a gift pack. We sold those like you couldn't get enough.
Megan,
of them. It was flying
talk to
out.
us about that because I know that you actually worked for Johnny Walker.
Megan did, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk.
I was the Johnny Walker, one of the 15 Johnny Walker brand ambassadors across the U.S. I used to travel around the country teaching people how to drink Scotch whiskey. So, and that was Johnny Walker and the classic malts, that all the elements that go into the Johnny Walker, and it was mostly the marketing money for Johnny Walker Black Label. So it was the best job ever. Yeah. So it was a dangerous job.
Yes, the hazard pay is worth it though, right?
Yeah. I had quite a liquor cabinet when I moved to Georgia because I lived in Chicago and then I had to transport my booze to get here. And I still have, the only thing I have left are 2 bottles of blue and a Talisker and a Talisker 25 cask strength.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that.
Yeah. My friend Margaret just drank some of it the other day, and I'm like,
God, do we hate Margaret?
yeah, it's but the label here, like I want to show you the label because it's all tattered and
Okay.
torn.
While she's doing that, Mitch, are you open yet?
Yeah, we opened about a week ago. So
Okay.
just our outdoor areas. We haven't opened anything inside, and we don't plan to for the time being.
I tattered and torn
You
25.
don't need to. You don't need to open anything.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, as long as it's not raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's in that canoe. We've set up like tables with umbrellas in the lawn now.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and that's what everybody wants, the outside now.
Right.
Yeah, everybody wants to be outside, and I mean, it's a great space, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
being on the river, canoe is well situated to take advantage of the space that they have.
Yeah. Sounds great. I haven't been there, so I'm
You've
still
never been to
an
canoe?
Atlanta rookie.
Oh, you need to come to
Come
canoe.
on down, have some kangaroo.
Yes.
I moved here permanently in August of last
Okay.
year. So
From
the San Diego area.
okay,
Oh man.
I lived in Los Angeles for like 24 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's I was a Southern California guy for about 14 years. I grew up in the San Francisco area, but
Okay.
it's when New Realm opened, I was commuting because my daughter was in high school in Southern California, and I didn't want to move her.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool to do that.
Yeah, it was nice I was able to.
Yeah.
No,
The
that's
kids-
awesome.
The kids like to like once you get to high school, I feel like that's
Yeah.
you need to finish one high school.
Yeah, that's how we felt too. So
Because I moved to Georgia from Minnesota in the 10th grade.
ouch.
And talk about culture shock.
Yeah.
Like I go from the best schools in the country to the worst schools in the country. It's
Oh no.
like for public schools, it's
Welcome to Georgia. We're
Yeah.
gonna teach the kids a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just registered. Like, yes. Wait, where'd you go to high school?
Etowah High School.
Ottawa. I went to
Cherokee
Winona.
County.
Oh, here?
Yeah,
Etowah here?
yeah.
Oh,
What about
So in Minnesota, I went to, I would have gone to Osseo High School in Minnesota.
oh my gosh. I dated a guy from Buffalo.
Okay, a little further west,
Yeah, yeah.
a little out west.
Yeah.
I was still inside the perimeter of the cities.
Right. So you know where New Ulm is then?
Yeah, that's out southwest. Yeah,
Okay.
that's considered country to us in the city.
Well,
Everything outside the cities is very rural in Minnesota.
There's this
Oh,
New Ulm is a little tiny place, but we did a bar tour in downtown New Ulm. So
Okay.
and it was like 2 blocks long, but it was about like 10 bars.
So something about New Ulm is there was a famous baseball player, Terry Steinbach, comes from New Ulm, Minnesota.
Really?
Yes.
I've actually been to New Ulm.
Yeah.
It's
how
fun.
weird is
It's like
that?
the big bend on the Minnesota River is where New Ulm is. There's like a huge bend on the Minnesota River, and it floods out there a lot.
Yeah.
We the first brewery I worked at, San Andreas, we were contract brewing our beer at the brewery there, and so we took a trip up and spent a couple of days in New Ulm. We had a great time. Yeah.
That's cool.
The downtown's like 2 blocks long.
Right. Yeah. It was a small
Yep.
town, very German, and it was
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The greatest thing about going to Minnesota, like when I go home with Megan, is like there's such beer drinkers up there, man. They love that friggin' beer, and there's like great. What's the name of the brewery that's by Kieran and Colleen's place? Excelsior.
Okay, Excelsior Brewing. Yeah,
Excelsior Brewing. That
that's
place
closer
is
to the cities there. Yeah.
awesome, and they have great, like
Taco
every time we're
Germany
there,
there.
they have bands in there. They're just so freaking good, like so
So
much
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Summit Brewing is a big one up there.
Summit.
And then
I went to
one that
St.
I
Thomas.
like though is up in Duluth. It's called Bent Paddle.
Yep. I got
They're
there last year.
fucking great.
Yeah, their beers are
That is
good.
great beer up there.
I'm gonna get some of that. I don't think I've had that.
Gotta go
No,
up to
that
Duluth
sounds
to get it, yeah.
awesome.
So
It's up north.
we met at the United Craft Beer Tasting.
Okay.
What, 3
Do
years
you
ago?
know Zach Hunt then?
What's that?
Yeah,
Do you know Zach Hunt?
I know the name. I don't know. I
He's-
like.
He's like the beer guy from United.
Okay,
Oh,
He's
Zach.
the
Okay,
top beer guy.
okay.
I've known the guys from United for a long time. So like when they come into Canoe, like Pete Moratakis and Doug Hertz, I take care of those guys all the time when they come in. Like I've known those guys for years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. My contact was Bobby. What the hell was his name?
Doug Hertz is the owner of United. He owns the whole shebang.
right
And-
on.
Right.
Oh, Bobby Marek. That was my rep's name.
Okay.
Good guy. Like so good. We did a ton. Like so, I used to be the bar manager at Antico Pizza, and we used to do a ton of business with United. A ton.
We go to those games all the
United
time.
and Crown are the biggest. United has a Brittany Burnett is the United craft beer like person,
Nice.
and she is like the United craft beer person.
Love that.
And Ken Dawson is my rep at Terminus. But yeah, United does really supports craft beer really well.
Yeah.
And Mitch, who do you distribute through?
United.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
saying.
Yeah.
United. Yeah.
Yeah, we're with United. Yeah.
Yeah.
they're-
And that's why we're talking about
You
United.
do a great job.
Yeah, I always like the United guys.
guys.
Oh yeah, we do.
So it's good stuff.
Cool.
All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night.
All right,
I
Mitch.
appreciate it. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
so
Mitch.
Welcome
Thank you
to
so
it.
much.
On board.
It's great to talk with you all. Michael, I love your music.
Thanks, man. I meant to ask, like, what do you play? You said you play.
I play guitar badly. I'm a hobby player, but
Me too, brother. Me too.
I was in a band in California that did a lot of the same kind of music you were talking about. You know, the late '50s through the mid '70s.
Yeah, man.
You know, we did that for about 10 years. You know, we played Beatles and Cream and Rolling Stones and
Oh,
stuff like that.
nice.
See,
Yeah.
that was my idea, was to get you guys to play one together if you knew the same song. something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's why I asked when I saw your bio.
Next
All right,
time,
I'm just going to throw this out there.
Do something.
I'm going to throw
You can
this
say-
out there. I
Oh.
feel like there is a song and beer, mergence
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, Mitch, the next time you guys want to do a collaboration with an aging musician, come, brother.
We need the Nowhere Man.
We'll do something
IPA.
together. We'll do something together.
That sounds
Nowhere
awesome.
Man IPA. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nowhere Man IPA.
Nice.
That sounds great.
Yeah, man, that'd be totally awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah, well, let's do this again sometime. This was fun.
Absolutely.
This was a lot of fun. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe we
Thank
could
you.
do one, Mitch, when you feel more comfortable at the brewery. Maybe we can do one of these at the brewery.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Sweet.
we'll make a whole night of it.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. We
Awesome.
can bring,
Thank-
maybe Michael come back and he can play songs at the brewery.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Mitch,
Okay.
man, enjoy the rest of your weekend, brothers. Nice
Hey.
to see you and meet you.
Same here. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'll
Hey,
talk to you guys.
thank you so
Talk to you guys soon. Thanks a
right.
thanks a lot for
All right.
having me.
Take care.
Later, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, it's the four of us. But I'm going to pee real quick. I'll be right back because I am at that age where I've got to get that checked out.
Dude,
But-
yeah,
I'll be right
Get
back.
checked out for
You're
sure.
probably- Okay.
Yeah,
That was a great show. Great show.
I'm gonna stop
that
recording
was
now.
so much fun.
I got to dance and nobody had to see me.
What'd you say, Sean?
I did.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna stop recording now.
Oh, okay.